Can't wait to connect with our friends through today's community comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
WBEV and Community Comment, presented by Professional Floor Covering and Abbey Design Center in Beaver Dam. You can visit them over at 713 Park Avenue in Beaver Dam and their website proflr.com. And they will also help you take care of the everyday spills. Kids, pets, muddy shoes, and those everyday spills. Your floors have to handle a lot. That's why Professional Floor Covering in Beaver Dam features CoreTech luxury flooring. It's 100% waterproof, scratch resistant, and built for real life. Plus, it gives you the beautiful look of hardwood or tile without all the maintenance. Stop in during the May Gold Tag Sale and talk with Randy and his team at Professional Floor Covering. Again, that's 713 Park Avenue in Beaver Dam or proflr.com. And now we send it down to the Daily Dodge TV studios with Justin Wilski for today's Community Comment.
And thank you for that, Jake. Welcome into today's Community Comment. Today we feature the ADRC of Dodge County and some familiar, I can't talk today, some familiar faces on. I'm flustered when I have these ladies on because they're always so entertaining and a lot of fun to hang around with. We have Ashley Sanborn, we've got Jenny Farmer, we got Amanda Higgins on the show. And they always sit in order, which I love. Makes it so much easier for me. But of course, we can't kick off the show officially until we get Jenny's joke of the month. So Jenny, take it away.
Okay. This one's timely for our season again. So what do you call a snowman in the summer?
I mean, the dad in me wants to say a puddle.
Good job. Yes. You got it. It's a puddle. Yes.
That's right. I got my dad joke book when I became a father.
You got your dad joke down. Good job.
Go through the Rolodex.
I did. It was back there quite a bit. Luckily, none of us are going to be puddles today. It seems like the weather is going to be pretty nice.
Yeah,
we're
it's
excited
nice
about it.
outside today. Windy, but nice out. The smoke's not too bad either.
No. And even with the wind, maybe it's just a nice day to go fly a kite. I haven't done that in forever.
No.
I haven't either. I think it's going to be hard to go back to the office.
Oh, I used to love flying kites. Yeah, I used to have so many kites when I was a kid hanging on my bedroom walls.
I went on a tangent the other day. You know how social media can sometimes suck you in? I went down a whole rabbit hole on YouTube of watching people do kite fighting.
Yes.
Oh my
This
goodness.
is a thing?
Yeah.
They
Yes.
fly these kites and then they'll pull them in a certain way and it'll cause their lines to touch.
Yes.
And it'll cut the other person's kite line and their kite crashes and I'm
They
like,
put glass on the string,
Right.
and then in the Kite Runner they talk about
Yeah.
that. The book, The Kite Runner,
Oh,
such a good book.
That's been a long time since I've read that one.
I'm just I'm amazed at the skill these people have flying kites. I'm just stay up. That's all I need.
Or
Yes.
to get up.
Right. That'd be perfect. Nope, they're zooming back and forth around. They have so much control and yeah. But we're not here to talk about kites today as much as we could probably go on so many tangents with you guys on the show because, again, fun crowd here. By the way, if you're not tuned in on Daily Dodge TV, definitely do so and tune in. If you have a question or comment, feel free to give us a call as well, 920-885-4446. They'll definitely try and help with that because that's what the ADRC does. You guys are very helpful people. And that's kind of what we want to talk about. And so take it away. What do you want to start with today?
We might as well just go down the list because we really don't have anything that we need to get out of order. So we just wanted to share with the listeners today that Medicare has a new temporary program that started in July. The new program is called Medicare GLP-1 Bridge Program. So under federal law, before this took effect, due to the Medicare Part D statutes, they're not able to cover certain prescriptions for weight loss specifically, cosmetic medications, minerals, vitamins. There's a bunch of things that people could take regularly that just statutorily it's not in the structure of what Part D is.
Right.
But with all of the conversation that has been, the last year or two about the GLP-1s and just some of the benefits that it can cause, or to have on people, Medicare is doing kind of this like study essentially to see how these GLP-1s benefit the Medicare population, but they're also, I think, kind of testing the waters to see how it impacts cost. Not only on the beneficiary, but just the Part D health system in general. So starting July 1st, this new program is available. However, it's not all of the GLP-1 medications. It's only 3 of them, Fandango, Wegovy, and Zepbound. Wegovy can be the injection or the tablet. Fandango is just the tablet. And then Zepbound, it's just the quick pen. And it says here that the single dose Zepbound pen are not covered. So there's just very specific medications and the types of those medications. Under this new program, each medication is going to cost $50 per month or per refill. And you do have to meet 4 of these eligibility criterias. The first one is you have to have a Medicare Part D plan, but that can either be the standalone plan or the Part D coverage built into Advantage plans.
Okay.
So it just can't be, private fee-for-service or other flavors of Medicare. It specifically has to be the Part D coverage. If you have been already getting GLP-1s because of type 2 diabetes or, other medical conditions that these medications can help with, you're able to continue. So this program wouldn't necessarily be for those people.
Gotcha, because you were already getting that covered.
You're already getting, yep.
Okay.
If you have one of these conditions, like sleep apnea, fatty liver disease, type 2 diabetes, you might be able to get these anyways through your Part D plan without this bridge program.
Okay. So that would be considered a medically necessary thing potentially.
Yes, because underneath Part D, for that medication to be covered, it has to be what the FDA has that medication intended for.
Gotcha.
So all of that kind of falls into that category.
Right, as opposed to the cosmetic side effect that comes along with these medications.
Yes. So then the 4th requirement is you have to meet one of these 3 criteria, either a body mass index over 35, body mass index 30 or higher, and have a certain medical condition, heart failure, high blood pressure, chronic kidney disease. And then the 3rd category is body mass index of 27 and have pre-diabetes. So I think that's going to be the bigger catch to be eligible for this program, is having one of those body mass indexes and or maybe some other medical issues going on. So I think this is great just because I would say over the last year or so, we've had a fair amount of people that have came in to talk to us about it. And we've always had to be bearer of bad news saying, if you're taking it just for weight loss, you might be having issues. But if you have it because of type 2 diabetes or those other things that I mentioned, you'll be fine. So I think our conversation this fall open enrollment period will be a little different.
It sounds to me like it's one of those things where they're saying that they know having a higher BMI can lead to other health issues, which means you could be taking other medications. It could be more expensive. Mm-hmm. If they can bring these numbers down through this method, then you're needing less medications. Mm-hmm. Numbers are better.
Right. Or maybe you're able to bring it down easier than one of those other medications on the market that maybe aren't so regulated. I don't know.
So I'm assuming this is something people should be talking to their general practitioner doctors about?
Absolutely, because how the medication is written in the prescription, if it's one of these 3 specific ones, that's going to be obviously a big piece of it. So yeah, absolutely start talking with your doctor. But this is new for the drug plans too. So if there's any pushback, that's where we are here to be an advocate for beneficiaries, just to help the plan understand that they're billing it appropriately as well.
There you go.
I'm just curious, Amanda, did they have a reason they only picked those 3?
I did not
It didn't
hear.
say?
No.
Okay.
No, but I was reading that they have to be in a certain weight loss group, and I don't know where the medication names are, but it's like the ingredients of the medication.
Oh, okay.
It has to be one of like the 3 or 4 of them in these.
Okay,
Like,
gotcha.
the semaglutide.
Yes.
And tirzepatide.
Okay.
And
Yep.
Okay.
There's like a list of 3, 4, 5 of them, and it has to be, I think, in one of these.
Okay,
Well, there you go.
that's interesting.
Awesome. Well, if anybody has more questions about that, again, seek out your general practitioner doctor, and find out more. Or if you have questions, you'd like a little more information, reach out to the ADRC. We already have to take our first break, so we're going to go ahead and do that now, and we'll be back with more on Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV.
Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
And welcome back to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV. Back in the Daily Dodge TV studios, here's Justin Wilski.
Thank you, Jake, and welcome back in, everybody, to Community Comment. Again, sitting down with Ashley Sanborn, Jenny Farmer, and Amanda Higgins from the ADRC of Dodge County. We just had a great conversation about those GLP-1s that everybody's talking about. As we discussed, it's a good idea to seek your doctor, and if you need more information, reach out to the ADRC, because there are some caveats to all that. Now we're going to move on to a topic that is completely and utterly different, but I was reading ahead a little bit on this one, and I always joke that I want to have an emotional support squirrel. And maybe
Squirrel?
Squirrel, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have an explanation?
Well, they're just random and chaotic, and that fits me to a T. So.
Yes.
Here.
So
I actually had a squirrel as a pet as a kid, too, but that's a whole different conversation
Really?
to have. Oh, yeah.
That is an interesting
Yeah.
story.
We'll talk during the next break.
Yeah, so there's some new development in the definitions that have been released for HUD housing.
Okay.
So for HUD specifically, before you could have an emotional support animal. It could be a squirrel if it was documented, but the new rules are explaining that it has to be an animal that is trained, and landlords will now have the option to say no or charge a fee for emotional support animals that are untrained.
Gotcha.
So it is a very controversial topic.
Say.
So I'm trying to tread lightly because for each individual, it really, emotional support animal can matter. But for ADA standards and whatnot, having a trained animal for a specific disability is still in effect. There is nothing affecting that. For HUD housing, though, if you have an emotional support animal and you need that emotional support animal, the landlord is refusing, you do still have the right to take that to court and fight it, but expect that you'll need documentation and to prove the purpose of it, and maybe need to require getting your pet training. Right. So I'm not sure how trainable squirrels are, but...
Again, we'll talk in the break. He had a few tricks. But it sounds like this is kind of a benefit compromise for both sides, right? Because it almost sounds like some people could be like, no, I really need this grizzly bear. It's my emotional support grizzly bear. And the landlord's like, that's going to tear up the entire apartment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way it's trained to be a support animal. We don't want a grizzly bear.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So originally, individuals that had disabilities around needing an emotional support animal had a lot more leeway than they do now with HUD housing. So ADA is still protected if your animal is trained. There's not an issue there. It's really for those individuals who have the emotional support animal that they're taking out in public with them, and then they're renting and expecting the landlord to comply. They may not.
But this seems more of like an increase of cost for those people. If you
It
need the
is.
medical documentation, that might take some therapy appointments or other medical appointments to have that documentation.
I think
But
that's
then
what makes this so controversial is some
Yeah.
people really need it. And I think that there are probably people out there that overutilize the emotional support animal terminology,
Sure.
but at the same time, there are so many individuals that need it as well. So that's what makes this
But then that extra
controversial.
charge and rent,
Yes.
though, too, that's
Pet-
hard.
That pet fee, it used to be that they waived that pet fee
Yes.
for people who had emotional support animals, and now they don't have to waive that pet fee. That's a huge issue. I know, like, they can charge you $50 extra a month, and now
And a lot of people
they
that
don't
we
have to
work
waive
with,
it.
it's,
Yes.
they're counting their dollars every single
Yes.
week to see if they can afford gas and stuff. So this, I think,
And
can be
I
kind
would-
of a hardship, too.
I would want to put the feeler out there that if you're currently living with a landlord that has given you some pushback and you come up against them wanting to evict you, that is something that you can appeal in court, and you should if you are in need of an emotional support animal.
And we could talk you through that. We might not be able to represent you, but we can definitely talk to you through about what this new rule, law, whatever, impacts you, just so then you can start getting the documentation or whatever else you need to advocate for yourself.
There you go. And I guess always good advice if you do have an emotional support animal and a genuine need. There are people out there with genuine needs for those emotional support animals. Keep that documentation handy if you got it. Just never a bad
Yeah.
idea to have around because you never know when people are going to ask and question and whatever. But, it's better to be prepared than not prepared.
Yeah, yeah. I think those service animals are pretty tight. They're pretty obvious. If you have a seeing eye dog or, one of those that are specifically doing a job, like it's pretty obvious why you need that, but sometimes it's hard to explain what's going on the inside.
Right.
Exactly.
And I guess we should also specify again, this is for those animals that are not specially trained
Yes.
for that service. If they are specially trained, they're still able to fall under that kind of exemption.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
There we go. So important distinction there. Again, if you have questions about any of this, highly recommend you reach out to the ADRC to get those questions answered or at least get help guiding you in the right direction. I feel like we should probably share you guys' contact information before we go into our next break for anybody to want to write that down. We've got a phone number. Start with that, so grab your pen and paper. 920-386-3580. Write that number down. We'll give it again before the end of the show. So if you don't have it now, you can always get it from us later. Also, the website, www.co.dodge.wi.gov. And you can also just Google ADRC
If you, yeah.
Dodge County. That
It's
usually
much
works pretty
easier
well.
if you Google it.
That's what I do most of the time when I'm looking up stuff for them.
So that website is just going to take you to the county website,
Right.
and then you'll have to look through the departments to find the ADRC.
Find the right one. Google it.
Yeah.
Just Google it. It's going to be so much easier. We're going to take another quick break here on Community Comment. When we come back, who knows what topic we'll touch on next? Maybe something not squirrel related. We'll be back with more on Community Comment.
powered by Daily Dodge.
And welcome back to Community Comment here on 95.3 WBEV. We can jump right back into the action, so we will do that now in the Daily Dodge TV studios. Here's Justin Wilski.
And welcome back into Community Comment. Thank you for that, Jake. We are sitting down with the team from the ADRC of Dodge County. We've got Amanda Higgins, Jenny Farmer, and Ashley Sanborn on with us. And we are talking about a lot of the different things that you guys help with and a lot of advisements for people that might be good to know. We know everything from GLP-1s to what emotional support animals may or may not qualify for things. And now we're moving on to a whole nother topic because you guys are just full of information. What is next on the docket today?
So next we want to talk about is checking your beneficiary designations. So another very different topic here today.
Nothing wrong with that. We like a little randomness.
Yes. So some of us have 401ks, we have wills, we have 403bs. So you have different things that you may have people designated to when you pass away. You have them designated to be the one to receive, be the beneficiary of those wills or whatever to receive the monies when you pass on. And we don't think about them. We get these benefits when we're employed or when we think to create a will, and we set up who's going to be the person to get them when we pass on. We should be thinking about changing those sometimes. There's different periods in our life, whether it's, my coworker here gave me some great acronyms to help think of these things. So every decade, it's a good time to think about it. When there's a death in the family, when you've had a new diagnosis, so these are the different Ds.
Right.
When you've had a divorce in the family, when there's been a decline in your life, or when there's domicile, when there's just a change in your life. So these are times to change them. So
Or at least look and review to make sure you don't need to make changes.
Right. So you might not need to make a change at those times. So, for example, we're having some changes at work. So I looked at my beneficiaries recently for changing some things with some of my own personal. So I had to make sure my beneficiaries were up to date with everything. Right. In fact, I called my daughter and asked her what her Social Security number was. And she's like, why are you bothering me about my Social Security number?
What are you doing to me?
Right. One daughter gave it to me automatically without any question. And I thought, well, maybe you should question why I'm asking you that. And the other one was a little curious of why I'm like trying to get her personal information. But these are things that we need to be keeping up on, and we don't think about it. You may have had a divorce in your life, and you don't want your ex-spouse to be getting all your money when you pass away. You have gotten remarried or
Married.
or married for the first time. So
I honestly think that my mom is still the beneficiary on my life insurance that I took out in college.
yeah. So
Not my husband.
Right.
Don't tell
Ashley
him.
needs to think about making some changes.
Hopefully
on
he's not
hers.
listening.
But if you do have a divorce, you don't necessarily, depending on how peaceful or maybe not so peaceful that divorce was, you may not want your ex-spouse to be the beneficiary of whatever those funds are. So I think those 4Ds are just easy to remember when you have those, big changes in your life. And decades go fast if you really think about it.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And I know, at least in my life, I always forget to think about this, except when something's happening like elsewhere in the family. Like you have a
Yes.
family member who passes or a family member who maybe has a new child or gets a new job, whatever. And I go, oh, yeah, I should think about, because obviously death's a big one.
Right.
If it's your death, it's too late to change anything.
Right. And your will might say, I want my life insurance policy to go to Amanda.
Right.
But my actual 401k says I want it to go to Ashley. Well, the 401k is what matters. That's an actual legal document that I had set up with the 401k. So it doesn't matter what my will said. So I have to make sure those legal documents are set up properly. So make sure you're looking at these and keeping them up to date.
I just want to add one more thing that I never even thought of when we were doing financial planning a couple years ago, but bank accounts. Your checking and your savings account should also have a beneficiary designation. Otherwise, if that's not listed anywhere, it could need to go through probate.
And this goes along with I know my doctor recently, I had my annual physical recently, and she said, Do you have your paperwork all set up with me for end-of-life information? And as much as I preach it all, I don't have that all set up. So you need to have your end-of-life documentation all set up too. And you may change your mind. At one point in life, you may want to be, no, I don't want to have...
Do not resuscitate.
Do not resuscitate. But later in life, you may want to have that. So you need to think about what are the things that you want in life. How do you want to have tubes put in your throat to be kept alive, or do you not want those types of things? Right. So these are things you need to set aside. Otherwise, in the state of Wisconsin, their process is to keep you alive. Right. So unless you have paperwork saying that you don't want those things, they will keep you alive. So all these things are things that you need to think about and take care of on your own.
But it's okay to change your mind. And these documents, even though they are a little work to do, you can change them. So I guess that was a big thing that I had a hard time just coming to terms with, setting up these is what happens if I change my mind? I don't want to go through this other process to change them, but it's okay. And there's definitely easier ways to do that.
Right. And it's daunting to think about. Nobody wants to think about passing
so morbid.
away. Yeah, it's morbid, but it's practical and it's reality, and it's going to happen to all
Your
of us. Your
family's
going
to
to
appreciate that.
Yes.
And in the state of Wisconsin, anyone over the age of 18, it's not a next of kin state.
Right.
So you need to make sure you have those designations made.
And we also know that documentation is important because word of mouth doesn't mean much.
Right.
Unfortunately
right.
not.
And make sure your family knows where your paperwork is, too.
Right. And it may not hurt if your family knows what your feelings are. If you've got a DNR in place,
Absolutely.
let them know. Maybe that's a good idea. Obviously it's your decision, but it's best that they're aware as opposed to finding out when the document comes out, I guess.
Right.
But,
right.
Family communication, that's always a big thing for me
So
anyway.
just one more point off of that.
Yeah.
So UW Extension has this fantastic class. It's called Planning Ahead, and it's like a 6-week class, and you talk about anything from finances and where you want to live to setting up some of these documentations, but then also what your final wishes are. And I don't know where the statistics comes from off the top of my head, but in that class, there's statistics that say that even though these conversations are really hard to start and nobody wants to start them, people who you're having the conversations with appreciate that you were the one that started it and not someone else making you start those conversations.
Right.
So I think it's hard both ways. And just to acknowledge that these conversations are hard both ways, I think at the end of the day, everybody's going to have the warm and fuzzies, at least, to know that you had that heart-to-heart talk.
Right. And as I've learned, nobody likes it when your response is, I'm just going to live forever or die trying. Apparently that's not good enough.
No.
So good to plan ahead on that. I see another topic that kind of goes with it a little bit.
Yes.
So let's touch on that before we go to our next break.
So protecting yourself from identity theft. This is a big one. It happens to people on a very regular basis, but there's steps you can take to take care of yourself. And I'm just kind of list them off a little bit. One is, and I see people do this all the time, it's a very common one. Do not carry your Social Security card on you. Do not keep it in your wallet. It should be safely protected somewhere in your home. This goes along with your Medicare card. I know people think that they should carry their Medicare card around with them the same way they carry their insurance card. Do not. Show it to your doctor the first time that you make an appointment with them, and then they scan it in the same way they scan in your insurance card. If you have an emergency when you are taken in an ambulance, you can always get that information to them later on. These are your Social Security card and your Medicare card are both personal identification information that you do not want anyone getting a hold of if your wallet or purse is stolen. Keep those both safe somewhere in a lockbox.
Preach, girl. Just kidding.
If you have bills that come in mail or credit card offers or anything with your information, those printouts we get from the doctor's office when we go to the doctor's office, anything with your information on it, your birth date, your Social Security number, your address on it, anything with your personal identification information on it, you should be shredding those documents, burning those documents, getting rid of those documents. They don't just go in the recycle bin after you're done with them because people will go through your garbage or recycle bins afterwards and get a hold of that information. If you're going out of town for an extended period of time, have your mail held. contact the post office. It's no big deal, just contacting them and having them hold your mail. You can either do it by calling them or going online, and they have a way that you can fill out a form to have your mail held. Don't give out your personal information unless you're initiated the call. So sometimes we have scammers that'll give us a call and say that we're Social Security. Social Security is not going to call you unless you have a pre-designated time for them to call you. I've had Social Security, and I'm using air quotes. You can't see me unless you're watching online on YouTube.
And you should be.
Which you should watch us on YouTube. So they're not going to just call you unless you have a set-up appointment. If they do call you, just hang up. Don't engage them in conversation thinking you're wasting their time and you're saving someone else from calling them. Just hang up. But don't give out your personal information. The same as if you get a big call from a bank, a credit card, any type of solicitor.
Medicare won't call you either. They don't have time for
Medicare's not
that.
gonna call you either. So don't give out your personal information. This includes your birth date, your first and last name, your address, anything like that. Put yourself on the Do Not Call registry. This will help combat getting calls. It's not going to save from everybody. So you can go to www.donotcall.gov or by calling 888-382-1222. I'm going to say that again just so you got it. 888-382-1222. Stop pre-approved credit card offerings by going opt-out website. That's optoutprescreen.com.
I need to do that one.
So that'll
Same.
stop all those pre-approved credit cards from coming in the mail. Yeah, I need to do that one too. I get them all the time. Constantly be checking your bills and bank statements and your Medicare statements. Make sure there's nothing on it that shouldn't be. I had this happen to me recently as well. I had a DoorDash charge on my bank statement, and I don't use DoorDash. But luckily, it was because I had purchased DoorDash on my daughter's account, and her DoorDash ended up getting stuck on my account. So I paid her DoorDash account fees for 2 months in a row without even realizing it.
Oh, well, that was very nice of you.
You're welcome, Lily, if you're listening.
No,
I'm
it
just kidding.
It was actually
Oh,
Jacinta. So you're welcome, Jacinta. So these are just a few of the tips that we could give. If this happens, that your identity is stolen, contact your bank right away. So that way they can freeze your debit and credit card and take care of any charges that may have been fraudulent. Contact the credit card company to make sure those are frozen as well. You can also contact the credit card bureaus, put fraud alerts on the credit reporting system so that way they can freeze your credit statements. For TransUnion, that's one of the credit bureaus. That's contacting 1-800-680-7289. Experian, which is the other, there's three of them. Experian is 888-397-3742. And then the third one is Equifax, which is 800-525-6285. And if you didn't get any of these three, you can call the ADRC, and we're definitely willing to share that information.
You can get them
for you.
online too on Google.
Yes,
It will connect
Google
you.
'em. But you can always freeze your credit report. And then I learned a new trick when I was worried about that DoorDash thing. When I called the bank before I figured out what had happened, the lady I talked to showed me how on my bank app I can turn my debit card on and off.
Right.
Yeah, so lots of people, you can do this just by, it's a toggle switch right on my app, and I'm sure other people do, and I actually use a credit union, not a bank, so I'm sure lots of people can do this. And so now I can just have my debit card off at all times and just turn it on when I want to use it.
That's kind of genius.
Comes in handy when the wife takes the card out of your wallet and goes shopping and didn't put it back and you think you lost it. You can just turn that off and turn it back on when she gives it back to you. So yeah, absolutely.
There are options. So there's lots of things to keep in mind. And another one is telling the Department of Motor Vehicles if your driver's license or ID card was stolen as well. So things we don't even think of. But, identity theft is a huge thing, and it happens to lots of people. And it's horrible. It makes you feel vulnerable, and it can really ruin lives.
Well, if you don't want to feel vulnerable and you want to feel like you're talking to helpful people, you're going to want to reach out to the team here at the ADRC. We do have to take one more break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about some updates and stuff that we've got going on for the ADRC before we close out the show. So stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We got more community comment coming up soon.
Hear what's going on in your community. Stay tuned to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge, presented by Professional Floor Covering.
It is 10:52, back with the last segment for today's Community Comment. Here's Justin Wilski.
Thank you, Jake. And as he said, this is our last segment of Community Comment with the team here from the ADRC, the Aging and Disability Resource Center of Dodge County. Again, we've got Amanda Higgins, Jenny Farmer, Ashley Sanborn on with us. And, of course, this last segment always goes quick, so let's dive right into it. We want to talk about some of the updates and things that we've got going on at the ADRC. So what do you got for us?
Yeah, I think this is one of my favorite segments just because we usually always have something going on.
Something fun.
So the first couple are kind of the same but different. Just our next we had a Medicare class last night or yesterday afternoon, but the next one is Tuesday, August 25th at 9 a.m. And then the one after that is Wednesday, September 9th, also at 9 a.m. So if you are new to Medicare, I would say in the next couple months, 6 months, this is a really great time to kind of understand not only the Medicare basics, but how do you go through the rest of the Medicare maze in picking up those choices. So
I would say spring too. if you're new in the spring, because September and October are our last classes that we teach. So we don't start again until January.
And what's like, isn't it like a 3-month lead up window you can
Yeah.
start signing up for?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is, depending on the type of person, because, we're all different. Some, people are easy to make decisions on what they want for their health insurance. Others, just wrapping their brain around some of the insurance terminology, like premium, deductible, co-insurance,
Right.
kind of hurt your brain a little bit. But we give free and unbiased information on, anywhere from how people are eligible to signing up and then what those other choices look like. So very good class to take, or if you want to retake it, because we've had a lot of people that have done that too. The next, we have another Medicare class, but this is another one of my favorites. We have partnered with Dodge County. We are Dodge County, Jefferson County, for over a decade and doing a combined county Medicare class.
Okay.
It's always in Watertown. This year it's Tuesday, September 1st at 4 o'clock, and this year it's going to be at the Watertown Senior Center. So we kind of do a hot potato. Some years Jefferson County takes registrations, other years Dodge County takes registrations, and this year we are doing the registration. So even if you're listening and you live in Jefferson County, feel free to call Dodge County at 920-386-3580 to sign up for that class. We just want to make sure we have enough seats and materials for that class. The next program that we have coming up is Blue Heron Boat Tours in Horicon. This year it's slightly different because it is really directed at people with dementia and their caregivers who are doing these rides. So if you are one of those people, we have a Friday, July 17th. Sorry, hold on.
Past that one.
We passed
Yep.
that one. Thursday, July 30th at 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And it looks like first come, first serve. And there's 30 participants per boat. In other years, we've had 2 boats. I don't know if there's 2 boats or 1 boat for the
I only saw
July 30th.
one. It says 30 participants. I don't know how many you can fit on one boat.
I think
to
30.
call to register.
So
ahead
it's
of
just
time.
one boat.
Okay.
And I looked this morning. They both were not full, but the next one, it's getting there. Like
Okay.
it's halfway. So call sooner than later.
So Blue Heron Boat Tours. And then the last one before I pass the rest of the events off to Ashley is July 23rd, which is in 2 days. The Caregiver Connection is doing a Pokino night at the Mayville Library starting at 4 o'clock. And it looks like you do have to register if you want to participate. So feel free to call our office to do that.
All right. And then the next Caregiver Connection is also going to be in August. She likes to do the last Thursday of the month. And so this time we're going to collaborate with Candace, and we're going to do a Medicare bingo. Everyone loves bingo. Not so much Medicare, but we're going to make it fun. There's going to be prizes, and then you're going to learn a little bit about Medicare as we go along in the games. So that is going to be at the Dodge County Human Services Building, 199 County Road, DF in Juneau. It'll be on the ground floor, so it's totally accessible. Tuesday, August 25th. We do ask that you call and RSVP so we have enough supplies for everyone. 920-386-3580. And so that'll be August 27th from 2:30 to 4:30. The next ones are some classes that the ADRC has. We have Healthy Living with Diabetes. This is going to be held from August 27th to October 1st on Thursdays from 1 to 3. It will be in Waupun at SSM Health Memorial Hospital. That's Brown Street in Waupun. It is a free class to sign up for. They do have a suggested donation of $10 just to keep the class going. This is best for adults who have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, are pre-diabetic, or are living with someone who is diabetic. The next class, Mind Over Matter. This is a really interesting, unusual class. It is for women older women to build skills and confidence to improve incontinence. Not a happy subject, but it is a really great class for individuals. Their slogan is healthy bowels, healthy bladder. This is going to be on Thursdays, so August 6th, August 20th, September 3rd, 1 to 3. So it's 3 classes. You need to attend all 3 classes, so if you're going to sign up, make sure you're available for those 3 dates. It's going to be in Mayville at the TAG Center. This is also a free class with the same suggested donation if you're able. Registration is required, though, so please call the ADRC at 920-386-3580 if you'd like to sign up for either of those
It's
classes.
been a little bit. When this first class came out, there was a handful of us that were kind of the guinea pigs for it. I don't know, were you?
I
ever?
didn't get to do it. I
Okay.
want to do it.
It
I'm
was-
interested.
It was a very interesting class, anywhere from nutrition to certain like Kegel exercises, because there's so many different kinds of Kegel exercises out there, and just kind of understanding your body a little bit. So it is kind of a little bit of an uncomfortable topic, but sitting around, at the table with a group of women, having those real conversations, I think kind of takes the stigma out of that a little bit.
I am really interested in taking it so that I can kind of sell it to my clients that come in and we talk, because we talk about really personal stuff when you deal with disabilities. And
For sure.
So being able to say, hey, this will be helpful for you would be really nice.
And you might see some improvement. I mean, not even might. I mean, if you take the class seriously, you will see some improvement.
There you go. And real conversations is what it's all about. And of course, we want you to have real conversations with some real helpful people.
I think there's one
at
more,
the
right?
Aging and Disability Resource Center. Do we have one more?
We do have one more.
Yep.
This
What
is
do you
just a dementia journey conference. It is going to be in Taylor County. It's for anyone dealing with dementia. August 12th. So it's coming up 8 to 4. Make sure that you call if you have questions. The number is 715-748-1988. And the contact person is Dana Detweiler. She's the dementia care specialist. So she's the one hosting this dementia care conference or dementia journey conference. But we wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that there is a conference out there if this is a need for you.
There you go. And if you missed any of the phone numbers we gave or any of the websites we gave or any of the information we gave, you can always watch us back on YouTube, also on the Facebook page. You can also probably re-listen to this show up on dailydodge.com, or you can reach out to those helpful people at the ADRC. Again, Google them, easy way to find them, or 920-386-3580. Amanda, Jenny, Ashley, thank you guys so much for coming on. Look forward to talking to you guys again soon.
Thanks for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
This has been today's Community Comment.